Good morning, my name is Karen Kong and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And welcome to the Cutest Crew Crafting to Go series. So this month I'm using the Cutest Crew bundle, which is this stamp set and a coordinating set of dies. And I'm making cards for every week in the month of May. And if you placed a qualifying order during this month and signed up for the Crafting to Go kit, then you'll receive all the pieces for the cards I'm making this month. So this is card number 3, and it is a fun fold, really easy to make. And I have to thank Heidi Collins, who is the demonstrator I cased this from. And she inspired me, so she used the exact same layout. I just switched up the DSP to use what I had. Good morning, Tara. Okay, I've got a tickle in my throat. Just a second. Hopefully the comments will work this morning. And I won't have to refresh every time I want to see something on my screen. So anyways, let me get my screen up and running so I can see your comments, hopefully, while we are crafting. And if you're joining in for the first time, I would love it if you say hi and tell me where you're watching from, ask questions, participate in the conversation. I do try to check my comments after the video is posted, so if you do have questions, you can always post them and I will try and answer you. Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for joining in. And so yeah, so you know, I won't be ignoring any comments that I get in the live replay if you post a question, but you'll have to give me some context because live comments means that I don't, when I go back to watch it, I don't have the context of what point in the video you're commenting on. So you'll have to give me a little bit of context to help me out. So yeah, okay, so I have my screen up and running. Let me switch over to my desktop so we can see what we are making today. And if you're watching, just close your eyes while I remount my camera. We are going to be doing some coloring today, so I hope that you're prepared to be relaxed, and because we're going to be doing a little bit of coloring to get those little puppies colored in. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick show again of how this card opens. It's a really easy fun fold, and we actually cut apart the little dogs so that we could put them all over the card. Okay, so super easy. If you are getting the Crafting to Go kit, you will get all the pieces pre-cut, okay? And you will need the stamp set to complete the cards. But if you are coming live in person to the kit class, then you can use mine. But otherwise, you'll need the stamp set to complete it. And I will show you how I will put this together, because there is this middle window that gets cut out, and I can pre-cut that as well. But if you are making this from scratch with your own stash, then you can use whatever you have, and that includes changing up the shape here. Oh good, I'm seeing some live comments update on the screen. Yeah, Sandra, so you can use whatever DSP you have. You can borrow our stamp sets because you know one of us in our crafting community has it. But it is really cute, and I'm surprised actually you really like the cute dogs and stuff. You usually get all this stuff. Okay, so anyways, let's get started. I have all my pieces pre-cut just like I would if I was sending it to you, and I will just show you how to cut out the middle. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is that you can use a different shape here as well. If you wanted to use a circle or the, here, let me show you the nested essentials. The nested essentials is where I got this rounded rectangle from. Good morning, Shalee. But you could also use this shape as well. that would also work. You can use that to cut out your center. Okay, so let's get started on this. Yes, so Sandra, you will get everything to make this card when you come over in person. If you're watching live and you haven't watched before, I do provide all the measurements for the cards after in the video description, so don't worry about writing it down. You can just enjoy and then, you know, figure it out later with your own stash with my video description and find all the measurements there. Okay, so I have a cardstock base of 4 1/4 by 11, which is a half sheet of an 8 1/2 by 11. So I just cut it down the center long ways, and I've scored at the 5 1/2 inch mark halfway. So I'm just going to fold this over and I'm going to burnish it. Okay, but I do need to open it up again because I'm going to cut it open. So sorry, I'm going to cut that window out. Okay, so I'm going to take my DSP. Oh, let me tell you where this DSP is from. This is retired DSP. As you know, I always mix in old stuff with new stuff. And this is from and I'm pretty sure Tara has this set. It's the Mine DSP. Okay, so here's like all my leftover package paper, but it's from there. And I really love this particular background. I think it's really cute and whimsical. So I wanted to feature it on this card front, okay? And I like the mix of like browns with the red. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to just center my DSP first. And because I know that I'm going to be cutting out this center section, I'm going to be careful not to put any glue in that section, okay? You'll see why afterwards. But oh yes, Shirley, you can tell I'm still suffering from allergies. It's not as bad as it was last weekend, but definitely with everything blooming in Ottawa right now, even with medication, you know, there's still some sneezing. So excuse me if I have to run off screen to like blow my nose or whatever. Okay, so like I was saying, you're not going to want to put any glue in the center, okay, because you're going to be punching this part out. So I'm just going to put glue around the edges. So let's move some stuff and we'll get our glue. Okay, so I'm putting it around the edges, which is what I normally do, and I don't put it too close to the edge because you know this glue is going to squish out, so you don't want it to come out the sides. So leave a little bit of space for the glue to spread. Okay, and then I know I said I don't put it in the center, but I like to just make another line around the shape I'm cutting out approximately, okay? And just to help keep the edges from lifting around the cut window. Okay, so I'm just carefully holding the very middle section not to get glue on my fingers, and I'm just going to center this right in the middle. And I hold it at a little bit of an angle before I put it down so that I can center the DSP on the base. All right, so now that I've got that down, let's bring in the cut and emboss machine to cut out that window, okay? I'm gonna just make a little bit of room here. All right, so let's bring this in, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the largest die from this set, and I'm just going to center it here. I'm going to push this out a little bit more so it's a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm just going to center this. All right, and let's put the plate on top. Oh, okay, so now it moved. This is reality crafting. looks straight. Let's put that through. Sorry for any wobbling of the camera. Okay, so now I've punched out my window, and I want to peel this apart because I'm going to use the Crumb Cake cardstock underneath in my window. Okay, so the edges are somewhat sealed because they pressed the oh, okay, I'm tearing it, and you know what, yeah, it tore a little bit, so I'm just going to cut a new piece. You know what, I'm going to just leave that together for now. Okay, so normally you will be able to pull this apart, so I made a mistake, and I probably put a little bit glue just a little bit close to the edge. I think it's like right on the edge of where it is, but this only happens when I'm doing this live, of course, right? But you can avoid just putting any glue in the middle section at all. It doesn't matter, because I think it does seal the edges a little bit, because of the perforation with the dotted line. It does seal this edge. So this side, actually, like, I don't know if it's because of the glue, but I think it just presses it together. So I think it stays together quite well. I just wanted glue for a little bit of extra insurance that it wouldn't come apart. But it can backfire, as you can see. But it's not a big deal. I can reuse this piece as is, and I will set it aside for some other project. And I'll just die cut another piece of Crumb Cake in that size. Oh, and of course I need my Emboss Machine again. Okay, I think this leftover piece here is wide enough. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, there's no piece wasted when you take out that window, and you're able to successfully pull it apart. And trust me, that has not happened when I'm doing it off camera. It's Murphy's Law. Okay, there's that piece that I want, and we'll set this aside. Okay, so I have pre-cut the other pieces, so I'll just tell you now that the second largest die in this set is what I used to cut the white piece that sits in the center. So this is the one that's already been pre-cut, and it's the second largest die. Okay, so pretty easy to assemble this. The next piece is another piece of cardstock. This is actually Sweet Sorbet, which is the color in the DSP set. It's a Sweet Sorbet, but it's really close to Poppy Parade, because I don't have a Sweet Sorbet lens marker, and I'm going to be using that for coloring, and I found that the Poppy Parade was actually close enough for that. So I just remembered that I hadn't pulled it out, so let me just grab those. Okay, so this piece here is 7.5 by 4 inches, and I scored it at 5 1/4 inches on the long side. So I'm just going to fold this and burnish it. Okay, so it goes in like this. It's just going to go straight in the middle section. But before I do that, I'm just going to lay it flat and put on my DSP. Okay, so this DSP is going to go like this. So if it's directional, you have to make sure that you're putting it on the right way so that it is the right way up when you stick it in. Oh yeah, you could bring sweet sorbet for the class. But like I said, the Poppy Parade, because it's a small amount of red that we're coloring with, it really, you can't really tell that it's not the exact color. So I was happy to use that. Okay. Okay, so this is going to go in like this, so I'm just going to flip it over. And let's put some glue. And again, I hold it up at a 45-degree angle so that I can line up my edges and try to make sure it's centered and straight. Okay, so now all you have to do to make this come through the window is you just adhere it right in here. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put glue in the exposed part of my DSP. Make sure not to put it on the inside of your card base, because then you won't be able to open your card. Okay. I'm holding the flap down so it doesn't get in my way, and so I know that it will be centered when I place this piece in. Okay, so we're just going to do this straight into the middle. All right, so that is the card assembly. That was the hardest part, and really it's super easy. So now all I have to do is stamp and decorate my my white cardstock with my sentiment and my images. So let's go and do that. I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus because I like to make sure that my line images are fully outlined and nice and solid, so I'm going to bring them in to help me bring in my Stamparatus for that. And I know that there's a new Stampin' Positioner out that does has the same functionality, and I encourage you to use positioner tools because they're really, really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my my little dogs first. Let's bring in that stamp. But it's easier to just bring up the whole thing. That's what I discovered about this layout that I have for my stamps. Just bring up the whole front sheet and then peel it off. Okay, let's put this on, and I'll stick these guys right in the middle. All right. So I'm kind of getting used to this this stamp case, and I found that there's a little bit of a tiny bit of a lip that I can grab with my fingernails to pry open the lid. Okay, let's ink this up. I'm gonna move that stamp pad up, ink pad up there, so it supports my page, my panel while I ink it up. So I'm making sure it's nice and dark, and then let's stamp. Okay, so it's a little bit lighter on that side. I'm just going to press it down a little bit more. I think I'll need a tiny bit more ink on that one little dog. I'm just going to lightly ink. Okay, I think that's good. Let's put him aside and we'll let him dry. I'm just going to clean this off. Oh, you haven't picked up your stuff from Chalier, Sandra. You have to let me know what you think of the new ink pad too, and if you run into any problems trying to open it. Or maybe it's just me. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So let's put this here. And I had it on a block, and I'm going to mount it on my stamp apparatus as well. So I used Have the Best Day, and I planned to leave the center, the inside blank for stamping Happy Birthday. But also I actually may leave it blank until I need to actually use that card, because if I want to use it for something else, some other reason, then I don't have to make it a birthday card, because Have the Best Day could be used for many things. First day of work, first day of school, right? Okay, so just inking that up. See, I find it a little bit light, so I'm going to ink that up again and stamp it again. That looks better. All right. Okay, let's pull that out. I'm going to put my lid back on my ink pad and clean off the stamp, and then we'll do some coloring. Let's bring back our little dogs. And I'm going to just use a bunch of colors. You can choose whatever colors you like. This is Pecan Pie and Crumb Cake, actually. That's what I used for this dog on the left. So I'm going to do his ears in a Pecan Pie. This is the light Pecan Pie. Let's see how that looks. I can't remember if I used light or dark. Yeah, light looks good. So I'm just going to do his ears and then his paws and a little bit of his tail. And I'm going to leave his little tag so that I can color it in Poppy Parade. So I want a little spot of red to tie it back into the DSP. Actually, let me do the red for the tongue, and then on this guy it's going to be the handkerchief. Actually, yeah. Okay, so let's do the handkerchief. So this is the dark Poppy Parade. So I'm just going to add shading first, kind of to the bottom. You can add shading wherever you think it goes, and then blend it in with the light. On such a small piece, it's a little bit more difficult to tell, but it does add a little bit of depth. Oh, and I think for this guy, I gave him a Petal Pink color handkerchief. Let me find that. This is my dark Petal Pink, yeah. Okay. I found the light didn't show up as well for such a small little area, so I changed to dark. Okay. And this little guy I did, I'm trying to decide, did I use, I think I did also use a Crumb Cake, but maybe the dark Crumb Cake. And I'm going to use the dark pecan, no, this is light. I'll use the dark Pecan Pie for this one. But I mean, you can use anything in this palette, or you could change it up if you like. But the browns really work well with the red. So it's a relaxing morning today with the coloring. It takes a little bit of time to color everything in. Actually, he looks kind of cute with that little white muzzle. Maybe I'll leave him with that. Okay, Smoky Slate for the next guy. So I'm going to do some shading first, and then I will add the light afterwards. So this is dark Smoky Slate. I'm going to put it underneath his chin, and then like insides of his ears, and maybe his paws. So if you ever feel like there's like a line in your coloring, do you see like there's a line there from the dark? I kind of color over it a little bit more to wet the ink and push it around to blend it, and that is how you get it to blend. Alright, so that last guy, I think I used just Pecan Pie. Yeah, the puppies were a little easier than the cats. I don't know what it is with the cats that makes it more difficult to color. So for those of you who are demonstrators, you saw the new online exclusives that came out, and there is one particular stamp set that is super cute, and I'm really leaning towards using that perhaps for a June crafting to go series. I don't know, we'll see if we can squeeze it in or not, and if I can get that order in time. But I have to make my decision soon. And you are gonna love these. I think they're really cute, actually. And this is right up your alley, Sandra, because I know you love cute animals, and these animals are super cute. It's called the Woodland Creatures, and it's for Christmas, and they are super cute. I'm gonna leave this guy with a little white patch around his eye. You see how the ink is kind of being pushed around, like the darker ones? I don't know if you see that, but that's what happens when you kind of color over it with the light one, and you can blend it. Okay, my flowers are all lemon lime leaves with pool party flowers, because this is what is in the paper, so I'm using that as my inspiration. I know, Sandra, I know we don't need any more stuff, but it certainly is another great set to add to your collection. And you can use some of the animals on their own. They don't have to be Christmas. Like, it's not like they're wearing like any Christmas related clothing or anything. So the animals could be, some of them can be used on their own. All right, I think that's it. Let's put those away and we'll die cut this. I need my cut and emboss machine. And let's bring back the die set. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, I am making plans for summer classes and such. I do have creative therapy sessions set up. So if you're looking for some crafting time away from the house and with your crafty friends, or to make new crafty friends, come on over. This is open to my previous customers and friends only. And to come over and just craft. And if you don't have something you want to work on, I am happy to provide a some cards for you to work on, and it's going to be just a fun, relaxed evening. So that's set up, and then I have ideas for what I want to have this summer. I do have a kit caboodle arranged, and it is still open for registration, I believe, if there are people interested. And yeah, we're gonna add some other classes to the mix for the summer. I just need to get my act in here because, like, you know how it was with dance going on, so now I'm kind of, you know, back into the swing of regular life, and can tackle some of these things. Okay, so now that we've got them cut out, they've been die cut, but I'm going to actually cut them apart. So let's cut this apart here. I'm going to just take off my glasses so I can see it properly. And Sandra, you were asking when the Woodland Creatures is available. I believe these are the July online exclusives, so it'll be out first week of July. But if I order it, then I'll be able to show you guys this set when I get it. Okay, so I am just gonna cut around my flowers. Okay. It's not too bad because, I mean, most of the cutting is done for you. You're just cutting it in between the little guys to cut them apart, and then just fussy cut around the edges of the image. Okay. And this guy I just need to clean up around his face. And I think it was a great idea of Heidi's that she used the rest of the dogs inside the card. There we go. All right. So, pretty easy. So I think I'm just going to stick this on first, and then we'll add our little dogs using dimensionals. Sandra, you're gonna have to wait for over a month to see the actual set online, but I am going to be if I order it, and I'm like, I think I'm probably 90% of the way there to wanting to order this one. But yeah, I will have to get in and order and get it soon because I want to use it for June if I do use it. And June is coming quicker than I, would like. It's just going so fast, the end of the year. School year, that is, not the end of the calendar year. Okay. So I'm just going to center that right on. And I'm just going to grab some dimensionals. So we're going to put this guy on the front. And where did my other guy go? Oh, there he is. Yes, Tara, this is like the best case fussy cutting. Like most of it's cut out. You just have to do the little in-between parts, which is not hard. I'm going to put the single brown dog on the left first because the flowers from this guy kind of overlap. So I want the flowers to be on top. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Totally up to you. Okay, I'm going to take the backings off and then we will stick him on. Okay, so I'm just going to put him on the left side here. So I'm using a mix of the standard dimensionals and the mini dimensionals here, because there's some little spots where a big dimensional is just not going to fit. Oops, yes, I ripped off two by accident. And I think I ripped off the backing off of this one. Oh, I have... Oh, I don't know how I did this. Reality crafting moment here. So I ripped off two dimensionals by accident. One of them stuck onto the top of another dimensional, and see, this one's tacky. The backing is gone, but the backing is now stuck to this dimensional. Okay, I'm just going to put this one over here. Okay. Problem solved. You know, for such a little dog, you would imagine there's so many dimensionals behind it, but I want him to stay propped up if this goes through the mail. So he's got quite a few dimensionals on him. Oh my goodness, I think the wrong side of this backing is stuck to this dimensional because it's not coming off. Okay, let's just get rid of that dimensional altogether. Okay, so let's put these little boys side by side. And that's all there is to it. This is a really easy card to put together. And it looks impressive, doesn't it? Right? So it opens like this and like this. And we're going to add this little guy here. And I'm going to leave this as my my base for writing on. I'm not going to add any more white, but if you wanted to have a white piece in here, you could add that, but I'm going to leave it as red. And this has to be glued on so that there's no bump underneath the front flap. And I'm going to have my little puppy running through the flowers. And that is our card today. Super fast, even with coloring. And it's a fun fold, so here it goes. That is our card. Super cute, super easy, and I have to thank Heidi Collins for the inspiration. And you could add more to this. You could probably add some gems here if you wanted to, but I like the simplicity of this card as it is actually. So you can play around with it with your own stash, and I hope you have fun with that and make your own versions. And like I said, if you want the pieces to make these cards, you just have to place a qualifying order in the right month and register online with me, and you'll get all the pieces to make this card yourself at the end of the month. Okay, great. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next week with the last card of this series. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.